Hello everyone, welcome to Narayana IAS. Students, in this session, we are going to analyze the questions asked from internal security in GS3 paper UPSC 2024. Let's try to understand the type of questions that were asked in the GS3 paper under the internal security subject. The purpose of this session is to help you understand the type of question UPSC asks in the examination, that is, you to understand the mindset of the UPSC paper setters. So that while you prepare for the examination, your focus is on the approach you use to prepare for the examination and accordingly change your strategy or preparation method so as to meet the UPSC standard and UPSC need. I hope you are getting the essence of what I am discussing. So the purpose of this session is not to dictate you the answer, rather understand why this question was asked in the examination. Let's get started. Question number 1. What is question number 1? Explain how narco-terrorism has emerged as a serious threat across the country. Suggest suitable measures to counter narco terrorism. This was a question asked this year. So why narco terrorism? Because of the smuggling of drugs, which is only increasing year by year. There are no signs of abating or reduction. The smuggling of drugs is a recurring and continuous problem, and the entire world is facing the brunt of narco terrorism. So the answer has to be divided in three parts: introduction, body and conclusion. Right? So introduction, what you write in the introduction, what is narco terrorism? It is the convergence of drugs and terrorism. It is the convergence of drug trafficking and terrorism, which means the profits generated out of the smuggling of drugs is used to fund terrorism. And this has emerged as a serious threat affecting not only our country but the entire globe. And that is the reason the government of India has to step in to ensure that the security is robust so that we deal with the narco terrorism. This is what you write in the introduction, followed by body. Now, in the body, you mention how narco terrorism has emerged as a serious threat, right? Narco terrorism as a threat. So, you talk about strategic location. Why is it that this has emerged as a serious threat? One, because of the proximity to two major drug producing regions. That is, it is very, very important to mention Golden Crescent and Golden Triangle. And Golden Triangle. If you fail to mention these terms, you are not putting a good impression out. That's the reason it is very important that you mention these terms. Golden Crescent comprises countries of Pakistan, Iran and Afghanistan. Golden Triangle comprises countries of Myanmar, Laos and Thailand. So through these regions, the drugs infiltrate into our country. Second is smuggling techniques. Smuggling techniques. For example, the usage of dark web to evade surveillance, social political impact, Now you know the menace of drug in the state of Punjab. Punjab borders Pakistan. From Punjab, drugs are smuggled into a country. That is the social and political impact. Fourth is the insurgent groups. How the insurgent groups along India-Pakistan border and India-Myanmar border facilitate the smuggling of drugs. So this is how narco-terrorism has emerged as a serious threat. And then the second part, what steps would the government of India take to tackle the menace of terrorism? So here you mention measures or the solution part, you mention about border security. That is, you strengthen border security. How? By using technology, leveraging technology, using radars, then drones to keep a watch, to keep a surveillance, then enforcing or strengthening law enforcement agency. For example, we have the Intelligence Bureau, Interpol, NIA. You can mention about NatGrid and multi-agency center. These points actually help you get good marks. Then you mention about international cooperation. For example, here we have to work with countries like Pakistan, Myanmar, Afghanistan, Iran, right? And then public awareness is very, very important. So these are the steps through which we can counter the menace of narco terrorism. A very simple question, given that drug smuggling is always in the news, so you expected to know about drug trafficking, the issues associated with it, and what steps the government of India is taking. This is the first question. Now focusing on the second question on internal security. See, when it comes to internal security, there are 4 questions asked in the GS3 paper. 2 questions are 10 marks each and the remaining 2 questions are 15 marks each. So this is another 10 marker question. What is the question? Context and salient features of the Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023. Digital Personal and Data Protection Act. Now, in the introduction, see why? Because of the focus on data privacy, or because of the global debate about data protection, data privacy. That's the reason this question was asked this year. So if you see, the questions are actually related to topics that have emerged or that were in the news in the recent past. It's not something that UPSC is asking a very old question. UPSC is taking the questions from past 1 year and focusing on those topics and asking a question. That's the reason it is very important for you to stay updated with current affairs. So context and salient features of Data Personal and Data Protection Act. So in the introduction you mention about this Digital Personal and Data Protection Act. What is the purpose? Purpose is to protect the data privacy, which means it establishes a mechanism through which the rights of people, the data rights or the personal rights of the people are protected, right? Then now here you need to focus on the body. Under body, the context. What is the context? Right to privacy. We all know that right to privacy. Supreme Court in a very famous judgment, Putta Swamy judgment, declared that right to privacy is a fundamental right under Article 21. This shows the importance of data privacy. Then global influence. So given that European Union has framed this General Data Protection Regulation Act, now this act has become a model for other countries to frame a law to protect the data. Then given the rise in cybercrime, every day 7,000, on an average 7,000 cases are registered. 7,000 cyber crimes cases are registered every year. This is the problem. This is the context. Now explain about the salient features. Which are the salient features? For example, it is applicable to all those companies who use the data of individuals, customers. Then consent based processing. The data fiduciaries are the companies that actually use the individual's data or the customer's data, right? So the data fiduciary can only take content and use content upon receiving the consent of the individuals or the customers. Then data principle, these are the key terms that you are expected to mention. Now it gives individuals the right to use and access information. They can also make changes to the information. They can also have their information removed from the internet. Then there are penalties. Also, there is a Data Protection Board of India, which is responsible to ensure that the companies are complying with the laws. Which law? The Digital Personal and Data Protection Act. And then in the conclusion, you highlight the importance of the data privacy. Again, you can mention that how it is important to preserve one's data or for that matter privacy. This is the second question. Again, a very prominent issue, very important issue, very serious issue. That's the reason UPSC asked a question. The next question. This is a 15-marker question. India has a long and troubled border with China and Pakistan. This is about border management, border issues, China and Pakistan. Fraught with contentious issues. Examine the conflicting issues and security challenges along the border. Also give out the development being undertaken in these areas under the border area development program and the border infrastructure management. Again, the border issues and the solution. Simple. The question is very simple, I guess. One of the easiest questions asked in the GS3 paper. So in the introduction, you start by highlighting the issues that India has with China and Pakistan. For example, territorial disputes, military standoff, infiltration of terrorism. And then in order to address these issues, India has come up with border security with respect to border area development program and border infrastructure and management. This is what you write in the introduction. Again, given the border issues that we are facing against Pakistan and China, this question was asked. So these are all recent issues. These are not issues which are very old. These are recent issues, have been recurring again and again. That's the reason the question was asked. Then in the body, address the conflicting issues. First, against Pakistan. Against Pakistan, what are issues we have? We have territorial dispute, the Kashmir dispute, mention about line of control, then mention about infiltration, and terrorism. Mention about Lashkar-e-Toiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, how these terrorist groups are proxies to the state of Pakistan and how Pakistan uses these proxies to create trouble in our country. Then mention about ceasefire violation along the line of control. Then talk about, then you can also mention about Siachen Glacier. Again, it's a border dispute, right? Then you can also mention about, then now you talk about China, the border dispute, right? The western sector and the eastern sector. The western sector, talk about the line of actual control, talk about the McMahon line, then talk about the recent military standoff, be it the Doklam or the Galwan military standoff. These are the issues that you highlighted. Now in the solution part, now what is India doing to tackle against these issues? First is the border area development program. Under this border area development program, the government intends to improve the socio-economic condition of the people who are living along the bordering regions, so that the government intends to win the confidence of these people, so that these people can give us the intelligence based on which the government of India, that is the military, can take decisive action. For example, roads, schools, hospitals, infrastructure, canals, all these infrastructure projects are focused. The second one is with respect to border infrastructure and management. Under this, the government intends to strengthen our border by focusing on infrastructure, that is by focusing on roads, bridges. For example, we have the Atal Tunnel. Then with respect to roads, we have the Daulat Beg Darbuk Shok, Daulat Beg Oldi. So this is the name of the road that you can mention. Then we are using advanced technology, sensors, radars, drones to increase surveillance, right? So this is how Government of India is working on security and social and economic parameters to increase our border security. Very, very simple question. Again, a question related with the current affairs, recent events or recent incidents. The last question. What is the question? The question is social media and encrypting messaging services pose a serious security challenge. They pose a serious security challenge. What measures have been adopted at various levels to address the, which means they are asking the solution part now. Solution part. Social media is always in the news. The encryption issue is again always in the news. So these, again, this topic is a very common issue or common topic, right? So if I talk about internal security questions asked in the year 2024, the questions are relatively very easy. So in the introduction, you mentioned that social media and the encrypting messaging system, they are the communication platform. They are the communication platform used by people across the globe. However, the miscreants or the anti-social elements are using these communication platforms to create law and order situation. And then you mention in the same line that yes, as it is a very important and security issue, it is very important that we address this particular issue. How? Now in the body, You start by first focusing on how social media and encrypting messaging is creating a security challenge. Social media and encrypting messaging system, serious challenge. How? First, spread of misinformation and fake news. Second is radicalization, the way people are being radicalized using these tools. Then cyber crime and fraud, data breaches. So these are some of the security challenges because of social media and the encrypting messaging services, right? You can also add points by your own, right? Now, the most important part is solution. What solution? What solution can be taken in order to reduce or eliminate the threats arising because of social media? One is regulation. Regulation, that is legislation. For example, the government of India has framed IT rules, right? For example, intermediary guidance and digital media ethics rules of 2021. Then we also have personal data protection bill 2024-2023. So these are some of the steps taken. Then we can talk about moderation by platforms, AI moderation by platforms, that is platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter can use artificial intelligence to filter out the provocative words or statements which have the potential to create law and order situation in a particular region. Then you can talk about collaboration between government and platforms, right? Here the government can collaborate with the platforms, social media platforms. For example, there is a Five Eyes Alliance. You can mention about Five Eyes Alliance who are collaborating to fight against the social media or encrypting messaging system challenges. And most important, it is important to have awareness. Then apart from this, you can also mention that you have to strengthen cyber security infrastructure so that in case the miscreants or anti-social elements are trying to take or trying to maximize the benefit, then this cyber security infrastructure, having a solid infrastructure, can help to prevent such attacks on our cyber systems. Why? Because most of the important vital installations are cyber based. Then you can mention about decryption, backdoors, which means here the law enforcement agencies should have a backdoor access to the messaging system so that the law enforcement agencies can decrypt the messages used in order to create disturbance. This is what you can mention. Also, you can mention that it is important to have international cooperation, like working with United Nations like bodies should help to strengthen cyber security across the globe. These are the steps that we can take, to strengthen the cyber space or cyber system. And then in the conclusion, highlight importance of cyber system or protection of the cyberspace, right? So this is, or these were the questions asked in cyber or internal security in GS3 paper. So what do you learn, or what all things did you learn from this session? One, the questions, as I told you, the purpose of this session was not to help you with the answers, right? The purpose was to help you understand the type of questions asked. So the thing that you need to learn is, one, you have to stay updated with current events. Focus on the recurring issues. Focus on all the major developments or major issues happened in the past 6 months and possibly 1 year, because questions will be asked from these areas, from the recent events, recent incidents. So this is how your approach has to be and should be. Take a topic and have a holistic information about that topic. For example, when it comes to internal security, terrorism is one such issue, right? Then you have Naxalism, then you have Northeast insurgency, then you have cyber security, then you have border management. These are the very important topics in in internal security, and questions will be asked among these chapters only. There's a reason, make sure that you're updated with current events, current affairs, so that you're fully prepared to attend the questions that will be asked next year. I hope this session was important and you learned the idea of preparing for the examination so as to meet or so as to be smart enough to predict the type of questions UPSC may ask. On this note, I'll end this session. I hope you have learned, and make sure that you are hitting the like, subscribe button, and make sure that you adopt these techniques that I told you to prepare and make yourself prepared for the next year. Thank you so much.